Interesting.
Send a text to your boy Spags.
I did not this time.
Okay. Let it rest.
When you take the L, you wait a couple days and just kind of let it calm down. But yeah, it was great to see him have a little moment there with Brady after the game. Respecting game right there.
We loved that at GMFB. We got lots to talk about. Of course, got Pioli joining the show. Defoe DeForest Buckner will join the program. Ronald Jones, Rojo as well, a Super Bowl champion. So let's get right to it. It's time for the lead block.
Lead block.
Let's talk this Brady effect, shall we? The Bucs are feeling it after their Super Bowl 55 win. Of course, our very own James Palmer has the latest from Tampa.
Well, thanks, Kay. When I asked Bruce Arians, the biggest thing Tom Brady brought to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers organization, because he can do so many different things for your club, he said it's that belief in winning. He said we had so much talent already on this team. We needed somebody to come in that's won before and can show the rest of the guys and lead them into an aspect to where they know they're going to win. Brady texted players constantly the week leading into the Super Bowl. We will win tonight. Now, Bruce Arians, when he got this job 2 years ago, wanted to eliminate the losing culture. Now the two of them in 2 years have brought together a winning culture. And how do we push that forward? Well, Brady was asked repeatedly if he's still playing at this level, will he play past 45 or to 45? He said he definitely would consider that. Bruce Arians has already said he's coming back next year. He wants to repeat. He wants to be able to get 2 Super Bowls in a row. And the other part of it is, Brady talked even before this game that he believes they will be a better team next year than they were this season. They had no off season. Arians joked with us yesterday, Kay, about how in the opener against the New Orleans Saints, there were times where Brady didn't even know some of the plays or some of the lingo, so they were able to adjust throughout this season with a full off season. They believe they're going to have a better chance to repeat because they'll be better next year than they were this year, Kay.
Thank you so much, James. You look like $1 million out there in Tampa. And for the most part, every Super Bowl winning team leaves behind some sort of legacy and mark on the narrative of the NFL. So what's the lasting impact of the Super Bowl 55 champion Buccaneers, Triggs? I look to you because you know the entire landscape.
I think it's the Brady effect in a way, but it's also what this team did in like 1 year in a pandemic with no preseason, no training camp. It's easy now to forget just how boring and bad and subpar the Buccaneers were for the last decade. Let's take a look at their records over the last decade before Tom Brady walked through those walls. This is a team that did not make the playoffs since, I don't know, 2007, and then 2011 on. I mean, look at this: 4-12, 7-9, 4-12. These are dark years.
That 9-7 team, I don't even remember in 2016.
It was a forgettable year. Jameis won at the end of the season. They got over 500, and we haven't thought of it since.
Right.
And that's what it was. 5-11, 7-9. Brady joins in 11-5. It's not like they went 14-1 here. They went 11-5, and then they got hot after the bye week, which was week 13, and they beat the Lions, and they went on this incredible run in the playoffs. But to me, Kay, it's like we look at teams around the league that have just been mired in mediocrity, whether it be the Detroit Lions or the New York Jets, or if you want to go to some teams that had a little more recent success in the Cleveland Browns or even the Cincinnati Bengals. Like, it's possible. It's possible. And the impact that I get of this, I don't remember a team overnight in 1 year becoming so good, so dominant, and not just getting to the playoffs, to the top of the heap and celebrating. Like,
it's like you can turn your life around.
It's true. Now look, Tom Brady's not a free agent every offseason, so I'm not going to say that this could happen to the Lions, that, hey, you sign some player and it can happen with Jared Goff. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that in today's modern free agency world, and that there are players that are being released because of salary cap reasons, and there are more trades than we've ever seen before, it is possible. My lasting impact is what Brady did to this franchise. Mediocre, boring, not relevant, to now being in the top of the football world and on the very, very peak of the mountain. It's all Brady to me. I know the defense did great, and I know that they have this amazing coaching staff, and we could talk about a million different players.
Let me ask you this.
Brady.
Yeah.
Okay, so with Brady and him being 43, usually the twilight of your career stuff doesn't work out as much, right? Peyton was in his early 30s when he went and won with Denver. So I ask you, does this replace like the Joe Montana? That's the shining example, right? An older player going to an AFC Championship game with the Chiefs and losing. Does this replace that as far as like shining examples of older players going places and winning championships?
Yeah, absolutely. Brady even getting to the Super Bowl, to me, blew out the
apples and oranges.
I mean, this Brady situation to be a champion. I think, honestly, I think
usually doesn't end well. When
Does
older players
does
do-
not usually end well. But even look at Phil Rivers. Got to the playoffs. It's like, fine. But then it's like, oh, you peter out. But I will say this. I think Brady at 43, and I was thinking about it, and I'm sure there are other examples. I think he might be the greatest athlete we've ever seen at 43. Like, I don't know an athlete who dominated his sport or her sport at the age of 43.
Not a sport as physical as football. I mean, there's golfers and stuff, but now we're into the other.
I don't know if there's a golfer who was ever at the top of the sport at 43. What he does defies everything. And the intangible is that he lifted everyone else with him. We're doing flips for Brady on NFL Network. What's new? I'm sorry, I have to.
It is what it is.
Well, it is what it is.
What do you think, Sean?
It's the curious case of Benjamin Button, right?
It is. He gets younger.
He's getting younger. He looks better. Every single time you see him, you say, wow. But to your point, Kate, I mean, we saw Peyton Manning do it, right? I mean, he won it with the Colts.
He's way younger.
With Denver. But
way younger.
That was a different franchise, too, and a different defense. And Brady just kind of, all of a sudden, you know, Pelissero just talked about it, or Palmer, the confidence. All of a sudden, Brady just raised the standard of excellence there. And I think, to your point, absolutely, it's about Brady and what he brought to this organization. And he made them believe. They believe in themselves. They believe that everything you do during the week matters. I think that's what Brady brought, that accountability factor. But I think it's also, to me, the legacy for this Super Bowl is Bruce Arians as well. Tom Brady won 6 Super Bowls with the Grinch, right? With Bill Belichick. Complete opposite. He goes down with Bruce Arians. And to me, as a player, this is refreshing to see a coach that's having just as much fun as the players. And he's talking about, hey, I'm going to go get me some hydration after this game. And, you know, there he is getting the blue Gatorade for those of you that like prop bets. I think the fact that Tom went down there, it wasn't just, I'm going to Tampa, the roster's great. It was, I like BA. I'm going there to play for that guy. Gronk, get your butt out of the wrestling world. Come down here, join me. And they did it because of the way that BA impacts players, his relationship, his connection with them. So I think for BA, I mean, what a shining moment for him in his coaching career. When you think about, you know, his record and, you know, where he started. He was at Temple.
You played for him.
Yeah, I played for him in Cleveland. You know, he's one of those guys that players gravitate towards. And I think it's a huge moment for him. And then also, what he's doing for other coaches. When you look at his offensive and defensive coordinators, Todd Bowles has been his guy for years, Byron Leftwich promoting him up through the ranks, and they dominated that Super Bowl. How about the 2 female coaches that he has? A defensive line coach, Coach Locust, and then I'm not even going to try to pronounce her last name, but the strength and conditioning coach, Moral. I mean, he's breaking down barriers and breaking down walls and winning Super Bowls to prove that you can do that.
Pretty sharp contrast, right, between he and the last coach that Brady won. I mean, we're talking about cocktails and hats and stuff, and Belichick screaming at a parade, no days off, to a bunch of people who are taking a day off to go to the parade. Big deal. I think the legacy of this one is also not just what Tom Brady did and what the Bucs did. It's what they did to the Chiefs and who they did it to. Look, the Chiefs are different. The Chiefs are special. You don't beat them. You don't shut them down. They did. They took this this Chiefs dynasty that we're by, and they go, bink! Just like that, and it's not the first time. It's not even the second time. This is what Brady does. Let's go back to the very beginning, the origin story. The greatest show on turf was going to be a dynasty. They were going to go to 5 of these things, and Kurt's winning 2 MVPs, and it's all these Hall of Famers on defense and offense. Brady comes in, green as hell, right out of Michigan, and ends the so-called greatest show on turf dynasty. The LOB was going to be a dynasty for Seattle.
Yeah.
Russell and Sherm and Cam, they were going to go to 5 of these things too. They haven't been back since. Brady comes in, beats them. We know what happens on the goal line. They ended the LOB like they ended the greatest show on turf. And when I say they, I mean he. And now the Chiefs thing, oh, they're going to go to 3 in a row. They're going to go to 4 in a row. Do we know for sure they're going to be back? We don't. There's a lot of young talent in the AFC. If they don't get back, or if they don't get back for a long time, it's because they ran into Brady, just like Kurt Warner did, just like Russell Wilson did. He ended the dynasty before they started for the 3rd time in 20 years. He is the killer of dynasties. You know, they say young civilizations are sprouting up and you're supposed to destroy the crops and the water supply. That's what Brady does to Seattle, to St. Louis, come LA, and now to Kansas City. These dynasties are supposed to be, Brady snaps his fingers and it's gone. It's amazing.
You called it the MFC, right? The Mahomes Football Conference. We talked a lot about, why aren't you putting Josh Allen? Why aren't you giving, even after that loss? And you were high on that team and you were on that wave. Did you really not think the Chiefs will be right back here next year? A little heavy lifting there in that, in what you just said?
A little bit. Like, I know they'll be in the mix, but I'll put it this way. I watched that Rams team with Warner and Hakeem and all those guys. Like, they're going to be here every single year. And maybe it was naive of me. And same with Russell. So, of course, I still have stock in Mahomes and the Chiefs and everything, but it's also naive to just assume it's going to just roll over and you're going to be there. I do.
What's going on? Why are you wearing this again?
I'm just wearing this all week. I might
right?
wear this until September. Yeah, it's the coolest jacket. The Bucs won the Super Bowl. I might just wear it. I changed the undershirt. It's fresh.
Kyle wore his varsity letter jacket in high school.
I still